Hey everybody, welcome back to another 12 rare run here on Arena. Again this week, highlighting a deck from Dev, Strictly Better MtG. For those of you who don't know, definitely check him out on YouTube. TCGplayer puts up his videos once a week. He's got a very active channel, makes really great stuff, including this deck here. So what we are doing here, just like we're going to be doing in this series from now on out, is we're going to be playing decks with 12 or fewer rares in them, only here on MTG Arena, which I talked a lot about. You can go watch last week's video. I talked a lot about Arena being the future of online Magic and just being really a great program, and I'm excited to see where things go with it and all that. I went deep into it after the announcement last week. So go check out last week's video if you want. But for this week, this is a pretty sweet one that Dev highlighted here. So the idea, and you might have noticed this coming from Guilds of Ravnica Limited, but if a creature has... Let me find the right one here. If a creature has both can't be blocked by more than one creature and, menace, where it can only be blocked by more than one creature, it's essentially unblockable. That's how it works here. So that's the deck. We're making unblockable creatures. So how are we doing that? So we've got some removal. Let's start with that. And remember, I'm only playing, I think this deck has 10 rares in it. So we're not even hitting our limit of 12. And if you want to hit the limit of 12, you can just throw some Overgrown Tombs in. I had one, so that's what I played with. But I hope to show that you don't need it. I think that's one of the things I want to really be able to show here. I'm going to go ahead and actually add another forest while we're at it. I was tinkering around a lot with the mana base because I'm doing these with no sideboard. And so I'm trying to combine a little bit of the sideboard plans into the main deck. Not too much. Not too much. He's Dev put together a pretty nice one here. But so we've got Necrotic Wound and Assassin's Trophy as removal spells. And it's pretty much all you need, to be honest. We've got the actual plan now, right? We've got this Captain's Hook. Equipped creature gets +2/0 as menace and is a pirate in addition to its other creature types. Whenever it becomes unattached from permanent, destroy that permanent. That doesn't matter. What matters is for 4 mana, we get a creature +2/0 menace. And if that creature is a bristling boar, well, that means it's not going to be able to be blocked. If it's a Vine Mare, well, that's a difficult one to block. If Vigor Spore Worm is involved, that's not going to get blocked. But you know what really does it here? Hungering Hydra. Let's check this out. Hungering Hydra, that's right. And here's a battlefield with X +1/+1 counters, where X is the amount of mana you spend on it. It really scales up. Can only be blocked, can't be blocked by more than one creature. So once you give it menace, it's going to be unblockable. So it can get huge. Whenever it's put damage, put that many counters on it. So it's actually can be immune to a lot of the removal in the format. So that's the plan. We also have Glaive of the Guild Pact. When creature gets +1/0 for each gauge you control and has Vigilance and Menace. And that is the combo with Vigor Spore Worm. So that's the deck. The removal is a Necrotic Wound, the trophy. The combo, so to speak, are all the menace creatures plus the glaive plus the Captain Hook plus even the Mood Mark Painter gives a creature menace. A lot going for it here. And then the beauty of the deck is, hey, it basically doesn't matter what creature we put all this on. They're all the same. The power lies in our artifacts and to some extent our creatures, but really these artifacts. So that doesn't matter. We've got Llanowar Elves, Druid of the Cow, which are great for ramping us into our bigger stuff, but also very good for just giving you what you need in terms of having creatures to put these on, right? So then we've got the district guides. You can search for basic land or gates, which is nice. Keep in mind, we do have a somewhat budget, and I held one over one Dimir Guild gate from the original list. There is negate in the sideboard if you're looking to put this together in paper. But this is the deck from the main deck here, and I think this looks fine. All right, so we've got our Guild Gate, 1 Overgrown Tomb, an extra Guild Gate here, and we've got a total of, 22 lands here, right? Everything else pretty straightforward. It's going to be fun, right? We're going to make some unblockable big green creatures right here. Really looking forward to this. Shout out to Strictly Better MtG. Let's jump into the games, see how we do here. All right, everybody, here we go with some Unblockable Blades here in the constructed event. So we've got, I think they recently changed the rewards on this. I'm not a complete expert on the Magic Online economy, but I do know that we can do pretty well here. 1,000 gold and 3 cards if we get 7 wins like we did last week. 500 gold to enter with Unblockable Blades. Let's do it. Strictly Better MtG deck. We did really well. I loved the first one, Mono Blue Mill, a couple weeks ago. We got 3 wins with it. I'd be pretty happy with that. I mean, hey, we are taking decks that have probably fewer rares than our opponent. We've got probably, we're not even, these are brews, right? We're not even just playing a bad version of a good deck, right? We're playing an actual brew here, and I'm really excited about that. So, into the first game. This hand looks pretty reasonable. Got the Guild Gate on turn 1, the Druid of the Cow on turn 2, and then we'll see where we go from there. All right, so Our opponent on the Highland Lake, I assume some kind of Drake's deck, which is, to be honest, I almost put the Crawl Harpooners into the main deck that are in the sideboard of this deck. So something to consider if you're playing on Arena with this. Alright, so our opponent's going to do nothing at least, so that's probably good for us. We'll just slam a Druid of the Cow here, at least in theory. We might get Essence Scattered, I suppose. Life would go on. Alright, so after this, I guess our opponent is thinking about whether or not they want to let it resolve, and they do. So the question becomes, what do I do next turn? They're clearly holding on to some sort of counter magic, or not. Radical idea, but they could be. It's a question of how fast we want to play it. I kind of like the idea of playing the District Guide next turn, going and just getting a Guild Gate with it. We'll see. The alternative is to play the... Oh, if our opponent's going to tap out, though, I might just play the Hydra. All right, they're playing an Arc-like Phoenix deck. Okay, fair enough. All right, so we have our first real decision here, which is, do I just slam the Hungering Hydra and a land? That'd give me 4 the next turn. I'll have 5 mana to play and equip the Guild Gate, which would make it unblockable. Not particularly huge, but unblockable. But then I could play the District. Yeah, I'm in. Absolutely, let's do it. Okay, so we're going to go Hungering Hydra for 3 here. Now, of course, this may die. That would, obviously be not what we want, but it could happen. And there is an argument for waiting until we can play it on 5 so that it gets out of Lava Coil range. But at least it's out of shock range here at 3. Which, may or may not be relevant against our opponent's deck. I have no idea. But we'll see how we can do here. Next turn, we get to play the Glaive of the Guild Pack. We get to equip it, which would give it plus 1, right? So just make it a 4-3 unblockable. Which if our opponent doesn't have removal for, it's pretty good. Oh no, they shocked it. Are they going to shock it again with the trigger on the stack? Oh, they said oops. Uh-oh. 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 They might have made a mistake. Oh, they shocked us. Well, they got their Arc-like Phoenix back. Well, it's kind of what my opponent didn't know there is they actually could have responded to the trigger by using the second one to kill it. So that probably wasn't ideal for them. But you know what? I will take it. Now we have a 5-5. They have their Phoenix back. That was pretty nice. So I could also put the Captain's Hook on it if I wanted. I don't think I want to do that, though. I think it's probably better off just playing the Glaive of the Guild Pack here. It's the most mana efficient by far. Because it is 2 and then 3, right? Yeah. Heck, I guess if I wanted, I could just play the District Guide as well. Yeah, maybe that's better. I mean, gosh, I could even play the Captain's Hook if I wanted. But it might actually be better to play the District Guide. The next turn, when I have access to 1, 2, 3, 4... I think I already played a land this turn, right? Yeah, so I'd have access to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. I could play and equip the Captain's Hook as well as the Glaive, right? Because, oh, it's 2 to play, 3 to equip, so not quite. I kind of like getting onto the board, though. I won't lie. I'm going to go ahead and play this District Guide here. I will take action on this. What do we want? Choose up to 1, huh? I don't actually know that I want a Guild Gate. We have both of our colors. I'm probably just going to take a Swamp. I don't really think it matters. Just take a Swamp. Whatever. Why not? Alright. We'll get on in there with our 5-5. Good enough. Put our opponent down to 15. You can see my rope, as they say, ticking down there in the middle across the screen. If that gets a 0, it means we pass a turn without doing anything. When you have 0 timeouts. Timeouts are kept in the bottom left. You can see mine, my opponent's. Timeouts give you, I think, like an additional 20 or 30 seconds or something to make a decision. All right, so as it stands here, our opponent has 2 radical ideas. They've got a lot of cards in their graveyard already, and they have 1 Arc-like Phoenix in play. So that is good for them. However, it seems rather difficult for the blue-red deck to deal with this Hungering Hydra. And if they're charting, of course, well, they're probably going to... They didn't even get a discard an Arc-like Phoenix to it. So they are looking for something here. I don't know if they have Blink of the Eye, Blink of an Eye, or Deep Freeze, or who knows what else kind of removal for this. But if they don't, this Hungering Hydra is going to be a real problem. Shivan Fire on the District Guide. Yeah, this is bad news, I think, for our opponent. We get to do quite a bit here. And I even drew another one. Look at that. Well, let's keep that in mind then. I have access to 4 mana, 5 mana right here. Which, is that enough to play District Guide, play a tap land, have 2 mana left over to put the glaive on? No, it's 3, so no, that doesn't work. I could play a normal land, play the District Guide, and equip the glaive here. Or I could just play a land and play a Vigor Spore Worm when my opponent stepped out, and to be honest, that seems like the best play. Gives our creature all of, +1/+1. Not exactly, killing it here, but hey, it's still a 6/6, and that does matter because we added a 6/4 to our board as well. I mean, now our opponent's at 9. We get to untap. We get to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana, which is enough to play both of these. This is the point I've been working towards, where next turn we get to equip our glaive for 3, but then we also get to have 4 mana to put the Captain's Hook onto something, making 2 creatures a problem for our opponent here. So that is just not looking great from the Is It Phoenix side. But they have 4 mana open and some cards. We'll see what they have. Alright, so yeah, they're thinking about it. Their graveyard is stacked, that's for sure. Wow, the Mirari Conjecture? I like it. This is a sweet one. Alright, they got a Crackling Drake. Oh my gosh. Crackling Drake is just lethal next turn, isn't it? Huh. I think I might be okay here. Let's play the Captain's Hook. Let's equip the glaive onto the... So I need to figure out, if I put them both onto one creature... So both of these give menace. So if I put them onto here, I'm getting in for an additional 1, 2, 3, and that's 8. Oh no, if we had one more, then we could kill him with a druid, but I need to use the druid to equip. Let's see here. Alternatively... Oh, I can just put them both here and win, right? Can't be blocked by more than one creature, and then we give it menace. So yeah, I guess all I really have to do is just go ahead and put these on my Vigor Spore Worm. Yeah, that'll do it, I guess. And get in for 9 with a Vigor Spore Worm that can't be blocked? I will take it, absolutely. What a game right there. We did it. Unblockable Blades taking it down. Yeah, you had a 10-4 Crackling Drake. That was pretty impressive out of your top tier 1 competitive standard deck. But you know what? I had a 9-4 Vigor Spore Worm, and well, that was pretty good too. 1 down. Hey, look at that. I even got a pack for it. Okay, on to the next tier. That was awesome. I love getting these things started off with a win. These decks are a lot of fun, but I go in. This is a little different. When I'm recording Mighty Modern, which you should check out. Mine went up on Wednesday this week. I apologize for being late. I was sick, but usually they're always up on Mondays. It's the first Monday I've missed in 2.5 years. I'm so sorry. But when I record those, I record one match at a time on Magic Online. So, if something doesn't work or my opponent misclicks or I misclick or whatever, right? I can just toss it. I can try again. And I try not to do that. I want the games to be representative, but obviously, right? And if I don't ever win one, I can just stop and try again. But in this, that's not what we're doing. It's all one run, right? So you get to see. And if I go 0-3 with a deck, well, you might get to see that. We'll see if I actually ever publish one where I go 0-3. I might retry if it doesn't work out. But I also might just play it. And if I can do sweet things, but we lose the game, well, that's fine. We're here to have fun. And if I show you, brews that came very, very close to being... Oh, right on time, right? If I show you brews that came very, very close to being competitive, but then didn't quite get there in every game, right? And they just happened 3 times in a row, but the games were sweet and our deck did its thing. We just lost. Well, that's fine. I'll probably publish that. Fair warning. All right, so this game, we obviously clearly drew our Land of War Elves on turn 2, just the way it's meant to be. So our Hungering Hydra is still the better play here, I think. Next turn, I'll go ahead and, I don't know, get some mono blue tempo here on the play with the Tempest Shin. Going to be pretty rough. I think I'm supposed to play land. Land of War Elves. Wave of the Guild Pack, I guess? The other option is another Hungering Hydra for 1, but we're just clearly in a racing position here. Oh, man. This is going to be rough. I mean, you saw this. I played this mono blue tempo deck last week. I got 7 wins with it. It's very, very good. And, definitely think we can beat it. I just don't know if we're going to beat it on the draw with, drawing our Mana Dork on turn 2 here. And our opponent having a Tempest Shin. So, And the problem is it's so expensive to play the Glaive. I think it's just my best play, though. I think I have to play it and just pass the turn and hope that we can, put together enough damage somehow to get to our opponent. I mean, the good news is after we take this 5 and get wrecked here, I can play the Captain's Hook, equip the Captain's Hook. There's just so many problems for us here. Our opponent probably has bounce spells, counter spells. Yeah, there's so many things that can go poorly. So I either play Captain's Hook and then play the Guild Gate, or I just play the Hydra for as much as I can. Honestly, I think I have to play the Hydra. This is not at all where we want to be, but I'm sure you know that. Our opponent had a great draw. We'll see if we get to resolve this one. We can't block, and like I said, this is, we're playing this in the 1-game queues here. There is a sideboard, and that sideboard does have Crawl Harpooners in it, which is a 3/2 that gets plus X, a 3/2 for green, or 1 in a green. Either way, it's very good. You get plus X until end of turn, or plus X plus 0 until end of turn, where X is your undergrowth, the creatures in your graveyard, and then it fights a creature with flying your opponent controls. So if that was in our deck, we could have dealt with a Tempest Shin. As it stands, however, we're just going to die to the Tempest Shin. That one ended pretty quickly, but a Tempest Shin does that. Card's very, very good. All right, fair enough. On to the next one. See if we do any better this time around. That mono blue deck is good. I don't, it top 8 at a GP, I believe, early-ish in the format, but it did top 8 at GP. It's this crazy thing that's a mix between, it's a budget deck, but also on Magic, in paper and in MTG Arena, it just doesn't have a lot of expensive cards or many rares. I'm a mulligan this one for sure. Yeah, I guess this is better. I honestly don't even want the land there. Need to draw things that do stuff. But yeah, that mono blue deck's very good. Let's see what we're up against this time around. Now, we are extremely talented at drawing these Land of War Elves on turn 2, though. That's for sure. To be fair, this time we were on the play, so we couldn't... Not exactly we could draw it on turn 1. Alright, well, they're going to Thought Erasure us, so I imagine this is the end of our Hungering Hydra. Yeah, there it goes. Good news is... well, there's good and bad news, I suppose. The good news is that our deck has a lot of cards in it that turn any of our creatures into threats. We've drawn equipment, we'll be in business here, but our hand right now doesn't look so great, and wow, if our opponent feels confident enough to cast down a Druid of the Cow, that's probably bad for us. Let's see what we draw. Well, can't say the draws have been cooperating with me either. We bottomed to land, and we've drawn a couple more. Well, Necrotic Wound, good against some things our opponent might do, but in the abstract, but probably not so good against the blue-black player. See if we fire off a District Guide, though. It would be an odd one to counter, but I hope they do, and they did, actually, so that's pretty nice. Now, obviously, I could play my land first and played around Syncopate for 3. But one, I wanted to play the Guild Gate that I got off of that District Guide. But 2, if I had played the land, then they wouldn't have countered my spell. And honestly, I'm fine with them countering a District Guide that isn't going to mean too much to us in the in the scheme of things here. I do have to stop drawing lands, or we will not win the game, though. We might be too far gone anyways at this point, just having multiple turns where we do nothing, but we have to draw some non-land cards here. I guess the good news is, oh, I guess the Syncopate exiled it, so it's not in our graveyard, and now the Kimster's Insights begin, so yeah, I'd say things going downhill pretty quickly here, but that's what happens when you cast 2 Mana Dorks and nothing else for the entire game. Shuffler, not very kind to us this go-round. I will take my turn. Oh, there's my Guild Gate. See, I got it anyways. Just what I wanted. Oh my gosh, that's so mean. You can't do that. You can't do that to me. You can't Vraska's Contempt a Llanowar Elf? Come on. Oh my gosh, we are just clearly dead here. All right, that's good enough, I suppose. I hate how fast it went, but there you go. That's you know, MTG Arena is truly good for that, though. It is great for giving you fast games, and that's awesome. You know, not so awesome that we've been on the wrong end of a couple of them, but nonetheless, pretty awesome. But hey, you know what? The thing with these decks is, one, imagine how different it would be if we had Crawl Harpooners in the main deck. Just based on the matchups we've had, you know, against the... Well, I guess we actually killed the blue-red player, but we did die to the mono-blue player. But what I'm saying is, you could see... Oh, now this hand, I can keep this, I guess. I might have got too excited because it had an Assassin's Trophy, but I think we can get it. You know, that's the thing. On these, not every budget deck you play is always going to do great, but sometimes they do. We got 7 wins last week with one. I think we proved that it is possible. Even if we, you know, were to lose this one and go 1-3, this deck is great. It's sweet. And sometimes the matchups don't go your way, and sometimes they do, and that's just how it goes. So we're going to go ahead and just fire one of these off for 1, I suppose. All I want is a hand that has Mana Dorks into the Hungering Hydras, not the other way around. But if my opponent doesn't have too killer of a hand, I mean, we do have plenty of gas in this one, at least for the next couple turns. This is going to get shocked, but that's fine. We have another, so I don't mind just doing something for my curve there. I might pass the turn next turn, rather than play the other for 2. We'll see. Ooh, I'm actually just going to play that. Runaway Seamkin, a little bit of a problem, but you play Death Toucher, you just block it, so that works. I also could have trophied it. I'm hoping to ignore it, to be honest. I'm hoping to play Bristling Boar next turn. And then if I hit land, play this for 5, where it's immune to most things. Oh my gosh. Goblin Chain Whirler, what is this, mid-2018? Get out of here. Well, that was pretty good. There's our land, I guess. Alright, so this might still work out. I mean, our opponent has the Chain Whirler, and you never want to see the Chain Whirler across from you, and the fact that we happen to have a 1-1 into it was pretty rough. Especially a 1-1 that was going to be pretty good here. Kind of doesn't look like much, but Death Touch, all 8 creatures able to block it do so, which means if you have more than 1 creature, oh my gosh, alright, well, they're popping off over there. If you have, sorry, let me back up. If it has more than 1 power and they have more than 1 creature, you get to kill all of the creatures. Because you get to, you know, divide the damage as you choose, which means you do 1 Death Touch damage to the first creature, 1 Death Touch damage to the next creature, etc. So our opponent just has an incredible hand here, so I don't know if we were ever going to win the game. That's unfortunate. So that's the way it goes sometimes, though. I actually think I might have to play this. Oh my god, they just literally have it all. Okay. Wow, I guess I could never win. I guess that's the consensus here. Even if I played this for 3 and I keep open removal for the other one, we're still just dead. So the only way I'm not just dead is to play 1 for what we're just dead. Wow. Okay, well that's unfortunate. Our mono red opponent emptied their hand on turn 4. That was pretty unreal. So, but that's the way it goes. All right, everybody. That's a 12 rare run. I guess we got 1 win this week. Like I said, that's going to be the way it goes sometimes. But I'm not done with this deck. I'm not done with... Oh, we get some rewards here. What do we got? Raptor? Some uncommons? Hey, this is a good one. But you know what? I'm not done with this. Look, I've got an unfinished quest right here. Let's play another one. All right. Let's play another. We're going to change out from this... Whoops, what did I do here? Unblockable Blades. Yeah, let's play it. There's a little bonus content here this week since unfortunately we only got the the one win. You started off so well. But our opponents had, you know, very good hands in both of those two losses that we could really do. You know, the mono red player, there's just nothing we could do about that. Okay, I guess I'm into this. This is a very different looking hand, but we'll give it a shot. You know, I get to play the Guild Gate on one. I have the removal. I have good creatures. I have the hook. I mean, I've got a lot going here. Just a lot of it's going to depend on how quickly our opponent is going. And look at that, another gate. All the Guild Gates this time around. Yeah, we'll play the District Guide next turn, and we'll go from there. Now, our opponent's playing Stone Quarries. They know what's up. Oh, a Sky Terror, huh? Flying Menace. Pretty good. There's another land. Okay, so... Right, so we have to have creatures in our graveyard for this to do anything. Let's just go ahead and play out our District Guide here, and I guess just get another Guild Gate. Surely I'll get an opportunity to play it. Next turn, I'll play the Bristling Boar. I mean, we're probably just going to be taking damage from this thing forever, but honestly, that's fine. At the moment, at least, it's a 2-2. Ah, but it does have some Sacred Foundries over there, and a Boros Challenger. And a Stuphorn Sentry. Okay, then. Interesting. All right. Bring it on. Now, that is a nice one. In fact, that's going to change how I play. And I'm just going to play it. And then I'm going to play Guild Gate. And then next turn, I'm going to put a Captain's Hook on it. And I'm going to try to mess up my opponent. We'll see. So it will have Menace, but all creatures able to block it must do so. So the biggest problem, I guess, will be if our opponent attacks with everything. But I don't think they're going to want to attack with the Boros Challenger into this. But then again, they have to, right? So we'll just block. They have to, otherwise we're just going to attack with this and it's going to block. So we're going to block and just force them to use whatever they got here. I guess they have a Righteous Blow. Now we have a creature in our graveyard, though, so that's a start. That's a start for this Necrotic Wound. We also have a Glaive of the Guild Pack to work with now. Gives it Vigilance as well, so I actually could play a land and equip it and just start getting in there. And honestly, that might be good, but it might also just be able to play the Bristling Boar and hold up the Necrotic Wound. I think this is probably my best play here. I don't really want to use the equipments until I have to, right? If I can make my opponent burn their resources before then, that's good. Well, Kindling Phoenix is a pretty good one, but that's why our creatures are unblockable. I'm most worried about dying in the air right now. That is the scariest thing by far. And you know what? There's nothing I can do about that. Okay, well, we got a lot of equipment. All right, so I've got 6 lands to work with here. That's enough to play and put this on there, which is nice because it gives it vigilance, because we do need the blockers here. And we get to keep out our Necrotic one. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and play this. I'm going to put it on the Bristling Boar. So we have now officially created an unblockable creature, and a 7/3 at that. So, you know, this game looks a little out of control. I mean, heck, our opponent has all these flyers, all these standard playable cards. They have mythics in play, right? And we have a Bristling Boar, right? What are we going to do with a Bristling Boar? This doesn't do anything. This card's fine and limited, but that's about it. But as it stands, if our opponent's last card doesn't kill our Bristling Boar, I think we're going to get there. All right, so here comes the big attack, though. So we knew this was coming. I have to think this one through, to be honest. All right, so what happens if I just take 5, 9, 11? Well, I could die to something, so I do probably need to block something. Just depends what we think the last card in their hand is. I think I'm probably best off chump blocking here. Chump blocking the Boros Challenger. The issue is we actually have some problems right now. Is We're so close to winning this game, but this is, unless we draw another gate, this is only going to give +3, which means it's going to make this a 10-3, which means that I actually kind of need to get in there with the district guide instead. But I can just give the district guide, so I think I have to take this. Or, wait, if I don't take it, I have a timeout here. If I make no blockers, but then give the Boros Challenger or the Phoenix or whatever, -1, then I take 1, 4, 6, 10, which means I don't die to a lightning strike. So I think this is weird, but I think it's actually correct to use essentially a no value necrotic wound here to just make sure that, you know, the cards that they could have with, I mean, heck, it could even be Sure Strike or whatever, right? We're not dead to those, and therefore if my opponent's last card is not removal, they're just dead to us, because I'm going to give this menace when my opponent only has 1 blocker, and I'm going to attack them for all of this unblockable damage. So this was actually this was our line to win. This was the only line I think we had to win, was to get in there with the 2 unblockable creatures thanks to menace. So we got the extra 2 power from the district guide, and we took it down. There you go, everybody. We did it. That's why you get bonus content right there, because that's our opponent played Mythics and we just ran right on through it. Everybody, that's right. And we get a reward for it. Why not? I didn't even know this card existed. I hope they bring Ixalan onto here. We've had Flashback. We've got Dominaria up. There's always Guilds of Ravnica. I have no Ixalan cards in my collection. That's what I'm burning all these wild cards on. Which, hey, look at this. We still have some. I've been using my wild cards for nothing but this series. And I have been playing for a month or so, but I'm using all my wild cards only for this series to see, just to show how many decks you can make without breaking the bank. I put in $5 for the welcome. I drafted a lot off of that. That's fine. That's what you should do to get started in the game. But look, we have a deck that won 7 wins. You know, we had a deck that went 3-3. We had a deck that went now 2-3 if you count that. But the point is, we still have a lot of this, and nothing has even had more than, I think this was the most, 10 rares, because we had a rare land in it. You know, nothing. The other 2 weren't more than 6 or 7. So you could definitely play Arena on a budget. Unblockable Blades. That was a fun game. I'm glad I gave some bonus content, because that was a fun game right there. I enjoyed that one. It had everything. It had a cool game. Our opponent was playing a nice deck. Our deck did its thing, despite not being a perfect draw. And in the end, we had kind of a complicated line to find to have exactly lethal while playing around what our opponent might have. So that was a pretty sweet one. Everybody, I'm Corbin Hospler. This is 12 Rare Runs. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think of these. Like I said, we're making Arena content. I want to make as much of it as possible. Arena is great. You're all great for watching. I'll see you next time.